Alistair Moody. Ex-Auror. Ministry malcontent. And your new Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher. I am here because Dumbledore asked me. End of story. Goodbye, the end. Any questions? When it comes to the dark arts, I believe in a practical approach. But first, which of you can tell me how many unforgivable curses there are?
3, sir.
And they are so named?
Because they are unforgivable. The use of any one of them will
earn you a one-way ticket to Azkaban, correct? Now, the minister says you're too young to see what these curses do. I say different. You need to know what you're up against. You need to be prepared. You need to find another place to put your chewing gum besides the underside of your desk, Mr. Finnegan.
Oh, no way. The old codger can see at the back of his head.
I'm here across classrooms. Another. Up, come on. Long bottom, is it? Up. Professor Sprout tells me you have an aptitude for herbology.
There's the Cruciatus curse.
Correct. Come. Particularly nasty. The torture curse. Crucio!
Stop it! Can't you see it's bothering him? Stop it!
Perhaps you could give us the last unforgivable curse, Miss Granger. Avada Kedavra! The killing curse. Only one person is known to have survived it. And he's sitting in this room.
Hey there, LEGO fans and Potterheads. I'm the lawyer in the LEGO Shed, and this is the 43rd in a series of videos I'll be making as I build my way through the magical world of LEGO Harry Potter. I've been collecting the Harry Potter LEGO line since it started back in 2001 with the release of the very first movie, and for this video series, I'm building sets that have been part of the more recent waves of Harry Potter LEGO, beginning in 2018 and stopping with the 2023 releases. The plan is to go in movie order, so without further ado, let's get started. Today we're looking at set number 76397, Hogwarts Moment Defense Against the Dark Arts class. This set depicts the scene where Barty Crouch Jr., disguised as Alistair Moody, shows all 3 of the unforgivable curses to the 4th year students in his Defense Against the Dark Arts class. Released in 2022, this set has 257 pieces and a total of 3 minifigures, all of which are technically unique to this set. This is actually the 6th and final installment in the Hogwarts Moments sub-theme, and like each of the previous sets before it, it hits all of the same beats that you would expect. This is the second time that this scene has actually been depicted in LEGO form. The first time was technically back in 2019 with the release of 75948, Hogwarts Clock Tower. We're actually going to be covering that set a little bit later in this series, as the majority of it focuses on the Yule Ball itself. So, let's dive right into our set itself here, and starting with the exterior, you can see right away that we have a beautiful custom print on the book's cover, as we have with all of the previous ones. I just draw your attention to the unique drawings that depict various things that indicate that this is a dark arts textbook. And then along the spine of the book, we can see that crossed wand symbol, indicating again that it is a Defense Against the Dark Arts book. The back is plain, as it's been with all the others, but the exterior continues to keep that same theming and looks really great. Moving on to the interior, we can actually set up the class pretty quickly here. So we take our little desk down, get some stools ready for our class table. And then we've got our chalkboard here that Moody has started out. I'll angle this down a little bit more so you can see. There we go. And then we can fold out the pieces to make our classroom look more complete here. Okay, there we go. So with all of our component parts in place, you can see that this one followed a similar approach to the potions class and the herbology class in that they had a center folding piece that basically subdivided the room. But it also followed the approach from the other group of Hogwarts Moment sets, the Transfiguration class, Charms class, and Divinations class, with a wing attachment that essentially extends the classroom itself. Those all went with these folding walls, like wings, essentially. And I think are overall a pretty good effect, but it's interesting to see both of them incorporated here. As far as the other components of the build go, we have a lot of fun things that are kind of lining the walls here to really just kind of fill it out as a classroom with kind of oddities. We know from the source material that Moody has a lot of things in his office that are all kind of like dark detectors and what have you. And you can kind of see that even on the other side here. Lots of sticker work, as well as some of these like things that are all just different faux glasses and things like that to ward off would-be dark wizards. And I think that ultimately beyond that, we also have some other standard things. We've got a nice little chalkboard here with what Moody writes down on that very first day, the 3 unforgivable curses. And then we also have, per usual, our wonderful little custom printed tile for the book. I'll put a bigger picture here so that you can see, but the tile itself depicts the dark mark and has an explanation there, which looks really great. Each one of these has actually been unique for all of these different Hogwarts Moments set. It's been one of my favorite details that they've kept consistent throughout. And then aside from a little area for the students to sit and then a desk for Moody, we also have this wonderful inclusion of the magical chest that Barty Crouch Jr. keeps Alistair Moody trapped in during the Goblet of Fire. And they even went as far as to include a little trophy figure, he's so small, of Alistair Moody. And he's even missing a leg, just like the Alistair Wood is in the books and the movie. So definitely one of my favorite little inclusions and details with this one. Very much unnecessary, but such an incredible decision to do. What I loved about this one was the color choice for the book. I really thought it was a fantastic choice. The starkness of the black with the yellow printing looks really wonderful, and it's the perfect color for a Defense Against the Dark Arts textbook. I also loved that we got this set at all. This is kind of a heavy subject matter within the series. In many respects, it's kind of a turning point where we start realizing the harm that can really happen to folks, and the harm that has happened, kind of this generational trauma thing, is really put on display here. And I really liked that we had the inclusion of this magical trunk with the trophy-sized aura. It's just such a great decision all around, and I think it really rounds out the set in and of itself. Things that I didn't love, I've mentioned this now 6 times, or 5 times, this will be the 6th. All the same issues are present that have been present for every previous Hogwarts Moment set. The set cannot be meaningfully incorporated into the larger castle system for either 2018 or 2021, and you can't fit the minifigs, which we'll talk about in a second, into the closed-up build. So you essentially just have these floating minifigs that you have to deal with. So that's been a complaint that I've had the whole time, but it's, they've committed to the bit, and this is what we've got. As an additional issue with this one, though, I want to throw out that we also seem to be missing a sticker here. If you kind of look at the back portion, we've got these nice upper windows, and like I said, there's lots of sticker work all over the place, but it seems odd that we don't have some parallel windows up here. I understand that this is kind of an archway, so maybe it doesn't make a lot of sense, but it just makes that portion look a little lackluster overall. And I think that just the inclusion of another identical sticker with those windows would have really helped fill that out. And beyond that, though, everything else I think worked pretty successfully for this one for what the subject matter was. Okay, now we can move on to our minifigs. As with all the previous Hogwarts Moments sets, we have 3 total, 2 students and 1 teacher. For our 2 students, we got Neville and Hermione. Now, both of them have mid-sized legs, which is great for the age that we're talking about here. So, for reference, both 3 and 4 have these mid-sized legs, these kind of like teenager-ish or young teenager-ish legs for folks. And then we get into 5, 6, and 7 where folks are a lot taller and have grown, and so that's where we get the taller legs. So they're appropriately heighted. We also have them wearing the 2 kind of standard deviations for Hogwarts robes that we see, specifically for the Gryffindor robes as well. We have one where they're an open robe, in other words, that you can't really see the sweater underneath, and you can see a little bit of the tie. Hermione's wearing that nice closed robe here, and then Neville's wearing the open robe option where you can't see, or where you can see that sweater that's underneath. These actually pop up everywhere. These become the standard offerings that we get with these school robes during the 2021 waves, and they are just used consistently and even to this day in the new waves that are being released. Then we have Neville and Hermione's faces, who we've seen before in other settings, but ultimately this combination for both of them is unique, so they get the label of being technically unique. You can see we've got Neville here holding a spider, as a spider is an essential component of this whole story, or this particular scene, in particular. It's his little accessory, whereas Hermione's is the book. So they look great, but they're kind of boring in the sense that they're just a standard Hogwarts student wearing a uniform, and we've already got a lot of Gryffindors. So it would have been nice to see maybe another student that was present, though these 2 make sense with the subject matter of the scene and kind of how they're involved. So there's our folks there, and we can move on to our kind of standout here, and it's Alastor Moody. He looks fantastic. He's got some great printing on his torso that carries on down to his dual molded legs, demonstrating that mechanical leg that he's got there, and just looks really fantastic. The back also has printing as well. He's also got a dual-sided head, which I'll throw in a picture here so that you can see, but underneath this very kind of fantastic hairpiece, he's got his Mad-Eye Moody look, and then on the back, he's got that signature Barty Crouch Jr. look with that little tongue movement that he does, which is a telltale sign that even his dad recognizes years after he is supposed to have died. And then he's got his iconic flask of Polyjuice Potion along with his staff. So all in all, he's just a really stellar minifigure, I think. They did a really great job showing him off and kind of hitting all the beats. He's also one that was previously pretty hard to get a hold of. Previously, the only way to get a hold of him was in the collectible minifig series that they did, the first wave. And prior to that, the only way you could have gotten him is if you got set number 4767, all the way back in the original waves of Harry Potter. That set was called Harry and the Hungarian Horntail. But yeah, so he's a welcome addition. He's only the 3rd time that we've seen him in LEGO, and in these modern waves, it's only the 2nd time that we've seen him. So, moving on to my overall thoughts, I thought this set was a pretty solid addition to the Harry Potter LEGO line, as I felt the same about the Hogwarts Moments sets in general. It was fun to see them depicted in this way as a physical object that then had a playset component. It's been something that I've enjoyed building. Granted, I have my opinions as to which ones have been most successful and which ones haven't, but it was just such a fun thing to get so many unique details incorporated into a set, and then to be getting the different professors representing the classes themselves. But yeah, I think that including that and the inclusion of the Moody inside the magical trunk, this one definitely holds a high spot in the ranking, even among our Hogwarts Moments sets. So that is it for set number 76397. If you are interested in following along on this journey, please feel free to follow the account. And if there's anything else that you think that I should be covering in these reviews, please feel free to drop a comment and let me know. Otherwise, thanks so much for watching, and I hope you have an awesome day.